What's up, everybody? This is Connor and Joshua with Chamber One Tactical. Today we've got the review on the Taurus TX22, which ended up being a very, very cool gun for us. We really enjoyed doing the video on this because
I'm just glad to have a pistol I can afford to shoot.
This thing really surprised us. One, for the price point and the fact that it's Taurus, which nothing against Taurus, but they've had some issues in the past. But very surprised and impressed on this gun. So let's get into it. So as you guys can see, we had a really, really fun time shooting this gun today and doing a review on it. It just kind of goes to show how effortless this gun is to fire and to shoot. We both just, it almost makes you laugh how well you can shoot this gun. I mean, we know it's 22 long rifle,
especially because we went from shooting a 9mm and then finishing off with that, and we're like, this is a joke.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. So, the gun performed perfectly. We didn't have any malfunctions. I believe Joshua had one where he pulled the trigger, it didn't go off. He just racked the slide just enough for it to cock the actual trigger, pulled the trigger, and the round went off. So we're gonna just tack that up to be a ammo issue, which happens with 22 long rifle.
No magazine feed issues. We didn't have any jamming.
Yeah. And that's what was impressive to me is the mags. I've never known a 22 pistol that you can pull the tabs all the way down and just loose goose drop those.
Can we go ahead and talk about its competitors mag?
You go ahead.
Oh my goodness. So the SIG, what did they call that? The P322. Pretty decent pistol overall. But that mag, if you didn't load it perfectly, you were going to have some jamming.
Oh, it was a pain.
And when they first came out with that pistol, their marketing was it was going to run any ammo and all that. And you just had to be very careful with loading those mags. That you can load super fast. You're just kind of throwing them in there, and it doesn't jam.
Well, I think even the Glock 44 had those same issues. If you didn't with kick gloves go in there and load every single round perfectly, you'd have issues. So
and you shouldn't have to do like that.
Right.
I know it's a rimmed cartridge, but it just takes time. You know, that's so quick. You just throw them in there.
It was just easy. It was great. So just getting into the gun real quick. I know we just talked about the magazine, but the trigger itself on this gun is excellent. Even in comparison to the P322, which was what, $200 more, or almost, I think it was almost $300 more than this gun. Yeah, it was. I believe I paid $549 for that gun.
Okay.
It did come with 3 mags. This one comes with 2, and it came with a holster. This one doesn't, but I don't really care about that. The mags I care about, the little cheap holster SIG gives you. That could pretty much get thrown away and nobody would care about it. But the trigger on this thing is excellent. So if you guys look, it's kind of a top hinge design. You got a pin right there, and the trigger just hinges off of that. So you got a little bit of take up right there. You get to that wall, and it's a very clean and short break. And it's pretty light. And then the reset is super quick. You probably didn't see my finger move very much. I'll show that again. But very quick, and it pushes your finger out just like we want a trigger to. It slings your finger out there, and it's ready to pull the trigger again. It's a very, very good trigger for a 22. And I know it's cringy for people to pull rimfire triggers. I know it's a pain, but we're doing it for you guys. But excellent trigger. Another thing I would say is the safety.
I never use it.
But it's a good safety design because there are people that want to use the safety, and it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
But it's easy to use if you want to use it. So I think they did it, and I think Taurus has actually always done a pretty good job with their safeties. Even on the G2s and G3s when they have safeties on them, they don't get in the way, and they're easy to use, and they're light, and they're actually pretty tactile. They're just good safeties. So the only thing that I think is a con to this gun is the sights. and they're just cheap. And Taurus has had cheap sights for a long time. I would I don't even know if they're any better or worse than Glock sights. It's probably that same polymer, just cheapo, sights.
I will say the SIG did have better sights on it. It had a fiber optic in the front, and but yeah, I mean these you could probably take it out to 200 yards if it had a better sight.
If you could put a red dot, and they do make models now that have
the new compact. Which if we had to do it over again, I would want the compact.
Yeah,
because it's just a little bit more practical for our application, and then you can put a little red dot on there. That'd be pretty cool. But
the texturing and everything on this gun is pretty good. I mean, you don't really need a ton of texture for a 22. It's not going to really be moving around in your hand much, but I think it's a cool looking gun. A lot of times when you find a 22, they're kind of just There's not a ton of design to them. Yeah, so there's not a ton of design to them, but it's a little blocked off on the slide, but they've got real good texturing or slide serrations. Get a hold of that slide. The grip is super comfortable.
Oh yeah.
The way that they've molded it, it just feels like a glove. I mean, it's perfect. It's very, very nice feeling in your hand.
Mag release is easy to punch.
It's very easy. And it's cool they give you an accessory rail up here to be able to put a light or a laser or whatever you want to put on there. It's nice that you can do that. And it does come threaded and has the thread adapter in the box, which is a big deal. It's very nice to be able to do that. But I did want to mention a little bit. I know we weren't able to do any shooting with the SIG P322. I did own it for a while, and I actually bought it for my wife, for her to have a gun that she can go out and plink with us as we're shooting because she was getting left out. So bought it for her.
Whipped.
And I read a bunch of reviews like we normally do before we go buy a gun, and I'd heard some issues with the gun about the barrel leading, where the lead's actually coming off of the bullet and staying in the barrel in the actual rifling. And just in general had heard some issues, but also heard really good things. So I went ahead and took a risk. It was a $550 22, which seemed a little pricey for a 22 pistol, but I did end up having those exact issues. So I got rid of the gun. I don't keep things that don't work, because what's the point of keeping something that doesn't work? I wish I had it to be able to show you guys the comparison between the two.
Yep.
I got rid of this before we did the review on the Taurus, but I had the leading issues in the barrel. So lead was coming off the round as it's going through the barrel, and it just kept getting worse and worse. So where the gun was accurate when you first start shooting it, as that lead starts building up, you really have no idea where those rounds are going after a certain point. And you
I guess it's almost acting like it doesn't have rifling at all.
Right, and you could go and pick that lead out. And I tried that. I was hoping maybe it was just the rounds, because I used CCI mini mags and it didn't do it. I went and used Winchester white box, that bulk pack, and it was consistently doing it. Then I went back with CCI mini mags. It wasn't doing it as much, but it still was having issues. I also had, and that's something we didn't have issues with this one, is the slide not locking back. Every time you go to shoot the gun, at first, the first 6 mags we put through the P322, it would lock back. And this is with CCI mini mags, which usually is your industry standard if you're going to go test a 22. And we had multiple issues with the slide not locking back, and I don't know what the issue was, but it just didn't seem like there was enough on the slide release to actually hold that slide open. Because if you would take the mag and just bump, or even without a mag, if you just bump the bottom of the gun, the slide would drop. So with all the issues I was having with the gun
and jamming, it would jam.
And it was partly, to be fair to the gun, to the P322, it was partly of the way the mags were loaded, and that's kind of what we talked about with the Taurus. You don't have to worry about that. But if you didn't, I would load a mag and it'd work fine. He'd load a mag because he's Joshua, and it would jam. So, but that
I ain't got time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, nobody has time to sit there and do that. And you drop a mag and the bullets get a little bit messed up in the mag, and you're gonna have issues with the gun.
Well, and it just seemed to get worse and worse. Like it wasn't just.
And I would clean it. I would. We like SIG. We really do. I mean, we like the products they have released. Other than a couple issues that they've had with some of their guns, they make pretty good stuff. And I kept trying to give it chances to see if maybe it was something we were doing, or if it was just a lemon or whatever. But at the end of the day, when I started looking into it even more, and there were multiple people having the same issues, and SIG didn't want to do anything about it. Not that I didn't reach out to SIG, I just got rid of the gun. But the people that I was watching on YouTube that were having those issues, SIG didn't seem like they wanted to help them very much. So I just got rid of it. I was done with it. So in comparison to that, and we haven't shot the Glock 44. That's one gun that we haven't really reviewed. I don't really care to. It's not anything exciting to me.
Yeah.
The price point is still up there with the SIG, and you're getting less rounds in the magazine.
Yeah, these are 16-round mags, and it comes with 2.
Right. Yeah. So, at this point, there's other 22s that we haven't, reviewed, and we know that. But at this point, I've just been very impressed with this gun. The price point, the way it's functioned, the trigger, everything about it.
How much is that pistol?
I think, what did we pay? $299.
$299.
Actually, maybe been less than $299 if we got it on sale.
Yeah.
And I know the subcomp, or not subcompacts, but I guess it'd be subcompact. They were coming out a little bit more expensive at the time than the standard.
Probably because they're optic cut.
Yeah. And it's a new thing. Yeah. But just really, really impressed with this gun. I would recommend this gun. That's something I would actually say is I would 100% recommend this gun if you've got just a couple extra $100 laying around and you'd like to be able to get some training in, because it really is a good way to train if you're not wanting to shoot your 9. Now the recoil is going to be different, but it's at least getting your muscle memory of pulling the trigger, because you can still pull this gun down or low left or whatever you're doing. You can still pull the shot off. But I'd 100% recommend this thing. We've put a ton of rounds to this over time, and it has just been a great little gun. And it has not had any issues whatsoever. So
what I like this gun for is, like, if we're going, we like to night hunt, and we like to hunt like smaller game, and this is just something that you can carry around with you. It's not going to be super loud, waking up the neighbors, but it's still going to get the job done for the kind of things that we're hunting. So it's a great little
put a suppressor on it.
Yeah, so like you're just walking around the property or something like that. It's a great little pistol to have on you.
Oh yeah. So I mean that's that, and you guys can see in the shooting that we did with it. Just a cool little gun, real easy to shoot, real fun. So, that's the whole point of doing reviews like this, is to showcase the guns that do work and, see if it's actually worth it to go spend your money on. And that's what our conclusion is for this gun. Definitely worth the money.
I want another one.
Yeah, I mean, we do want a compact. It'd be really cool to get a compact and do a review on it. But would definitely recommend this gun. Would be a good gun to start your kids out on if you're wanting to have a gun for children, or if you want to, please don't, if you're a husband and your wife that has never shot a gun before, don't go give them a 500 Smith & Wesson and think it's funny, because it's not. Get them something like this that they can learn and kind of build up to a 380 or a 9mm and learn how to shoot a gun properly, so they're not, afraid of the gun blowing out of their hands or something. But that's our review of the Taurus TX22. If you guys have any other guns that you would like us to look at, or gear or anything like that you'd want us to do a review or test, just let us know down in the comments. And if you guys don't mind, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.